Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well, thank you for joining me. I didn't make it onto YouTube yesterday. Some stuff's happened privately in the family, which I will elaborate on in the live stream tomorrow. But anyway, back to the plot. Now, the mainstream media have had a very good time lately of bashing reform over the head with the spectre of Tommy Robinson and just about anything else they care to mention. They've had a habit of bashing Farage over the head. They've had a habit of bashing Tice over the head with all sorts of things. And in the excitement, we've all been saying, well, we're not going to vote for them because their views don't align with ours. Bit of division gets created as a result, doesn't it? And I, for one, have been accused of splitting the right, stirring the shit, or whatever else you want to call it, if I dare come out and say anything against Farage, Tice, or reform, or you know, be perceived to do so. Now, it doesn't really matter what I say or anybody else, because the fact remains that they are riding high in the polls, and if they get, I think it was 32% or something approval rating in the polls, we're highly likely looking at a reform government. It doesn't really matter what the mainstream media or anybody else thinks. Now, we go pretty much on what we see and what we hear in the press, don't we? And we all get caught up in the excitement of what we see and what we hear in the press. And I was reminded of something with a conversation I had with somebody fairly influential this morning. It doesn't really matter what Farage says. It doesn't really matter what Tice says or anybody else, does it really? Because they are just the figure at the front, the front man for the whole show. What matters is what goes on in the background. The point I'm trying to make is you're not actually voting for Nigel Farage, are you? You're not voting for Richard Tice, are you? You're voting for your Member of Parliament to represent your views, which in this case happens to be reform. Could you imagine Noel Willcox? Could you imagine Rupert Lowes? I mean, Lee Anderson, dare I say it. Could you imagine 350 of those in the Houses of Parliament? You look at some of the things that Rupert's been saying. Noel Willcox, could you imagine them? What difference would that make if there was someone like that from a community talking sense, talking the right language? That's what makes change. Not what the mainstream media makes of what Farage or Tice or anybody else says, but real, honest to God people who want to change it for their own. Could you imagine how different it could be? Think about what I said. It's very important that we don't lose focus in all of this and we realise what is important and stick to the goal. Let me know what you think. Have a look at these and I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.